you don't know me, my name is Elisa. Welcome to this video. I wanted to film this video for such a long time, but every time I started, I was like, nah, I don't know, I don't really feel it. I don't know, I just ended up filming something else. But I know that this was a topic that was requested by so many of you. I know that you guys are interested in it, so here is finally the video. So this video is about how to create habits and habits in general. I just wanted to tell you guys how I started adding new habits to my routine, how they affected my life, how much has changed. So just to make this clear right in the beginning, habits are things that you do everything without thinking. Habits make up to 40% of our lifestyle, even if we don't know it or even if we don't acknowledge them as such, even if they're like bad habits, good habits, things that we do in a certain way since we were children. All of these things are habits and they belong to a certain routine. So these habits shape your life whether you realize it or not. And that can be in a positive or negative way. Like I just said, there can be bad habits and there can be good habits. And the great thing is you can break old habits and create new ones. All it takes is obviously a little bit of time, needs persistence, and it also needs patience. Not the most patient person, so I totally understand if you are also this kind of person who just wants to get started, who wants to see results right away, who wants to change their whole life in like one day. That's just not possible, and I learned that the hard way, and I feel like we really need to be patient with this process. So ask yourself, what are some ideal habits that you want to add to your life and why? I started my journey a couple of years ago, and I feel like it all started to kind of get out of hand when I started studying at university. I feel like in school, you more or less have a routine, or you have like habits. They're kind of the ones maybe your parents gave you. You have a really clear structure in your life because school starts at 8 and it finishes at 4. You know when you have your lunch break, you know when you maybe have hobbies in the evening, so you have a really clear structure. When I started studying at university, I kind of lost that because I didn't have classes every day. I mean, in the beginning, yes, but not every day. Sometimes I had 2 classes, sometimes I had 4, then Fridays was off or Mondays was off. So I feel like my whole schedule or all the routines I had in my life just disappeared, and I had to develop new ones. And I feel like as a student, also with like going out, doing a bunch of things, it just wasn't possible to have a clear structure, a schedule, a routine. I mean, it is possible. I just wasn't able to do that very well. I'm actually a person that really loves routines. I love my morning, especially my morning routine. I love my habits. I love everything about like organizing my life, structuring it. So I felt like I really lost myself there for a while. I didn't really notice it until, I'm actually not sure when it was, but I feel like once I started working, like also when I had this kind of student job, and I felt like, okay, I don't really have a habits, like a structure, a routine in my life, because I moved away when I did my bachelor degree, and then I came back for my master degree, and then I moved in with my boyfriend. So it was like, okay, this is something completely different. It was the first time for us living together. So we needed to, like, I needed to have kind of my own routine, and then we also needed to have one together, or kind of like, it had to fit at least a little bit, if you know what I mean. That was kind of the starting point. And on top of it, obviously, there was COVID and everything was not normal. Nothing was organized. And I just, oh, yes. So I was just in a place where I was like, okay, I need a routine, I need structure, because otherwise I'm just gonna go crazy. Like I said, I'm not the most patient person, so what I did was I kind of wanted to organize, restructure, change my whole life in one day. I kind of sat down and I was like, okay, I want to change this and I want to change that and I want to add this and that and this has to go and I need to add all these new things and it has to be strictly this way and like with times, and I had like kind of like a timetable and a schedule and everything. I had it all figured out, but it was just like in theory, and it was just not realistic to apply all of that to my life from one day to the next one. I kind of did, or I tried, because I thought this is the way to go. And after like 2 days, I was like, okay, this is so overwhelming. I feel so stressed. And then if I didn't do a thing I wanted to do, I felt so guilty. And then I was like, okay, this is stressing me out so much. This is really not helping. And this is not why I'm doing this. This is not the purpose of having structure or routine if it stresses you out. And what I also learned the hard way is that not every routine or every habit that you see online or that maybe other people are doing is is the right one for you. You just have to go to like trial and error phase, because I feel like this is the perfect way to go and to establish the ones that really fit and that are compatible with your life. Because if you just do something because someone else is doing it, it will just stress you out in the end. So I went to trial and error, I tried different things, and I stopped doing a bunch of things I originally had on my plan. So I just tossed out the whole plan. I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. So what I did instead is I started small. And this is what I said about being patient, because you are starting small, it takes a lot of time, but it's so worth it. So start small and pick one habit that means the most to you and start with this one. Start doing it once or twice a week and then build it up until you can do it daily. But don't put too much pressure on you, because that's not gonna help you in the long run. Something that helped me in the beginning to establish these was also the 5-second rule. So you want to physically act on your habit within 5 seconds without even thinking about it. Because if you give yourself too much time to think about it, you're just gonna talk yourself out of it, you're gonna make excuses, and then you're not gonna do it at all. So that's why I said start with something simple, something convenient, and reduce the mental or physical energy it takes for you to do that habit. So for example, you want to drink more water, have the water bottle always next to you. So it's super simple, it's easy, it's convenient, you have it right there next to you and you can just drink your water. And then remove all obstacles or excuses and then just start doing the habit. You can also use a habit tracker if you want to. I also had a list. You can do it in your notes, but you don't necessarily need that. After a while, it was just stressing me out because there was like one more thing to think about, to go to that list and then just tick the box. Or you can definitely track it, especially in the beginning. It is definitely helpful. And then after you've done this habit, or maybe the 2 habits that you added for a while, and you feel like you have established this one for yourself and you really enjoy that one, it helps you, it's not too complicated, you really enjoy doing that, you can add the next one. And to stay consistent and motivated, you have to remind yourself why you started in the first place. So what is the reason that you chose this habit? Why do you want to do exactly this habit? And how does this habit add value to your life? So always make sure you know the reason why, because the why in everything basically that I do, that people do, the why is such a big motivator for everything. And no worries, you can always adjust. I totally believe in the law of attraction and in manifestation. And I feel like this is such a powerful tool to make things happen in one way or the other. So identify yourself as the person who does that habit. And it just helps you adjust your mindset. It helps your mindset so much, because when you start believing that you are this kind of person who has this habit, who does that, it will actually be easier to do it. And I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, but I totally believe in it. And I've seen it so many times that if you believe in something strongly enough, it will definitely become part of you, become part of your life, and it has such a big effect. So step into this mindset and then the behavior will follow. Sometimes we fail and that's completely okay. Like I said, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Sometimes it's the unrealistic expectations that kind of hold us back. As long as you keep trying, that's the best you can do, and it will always lead to something. And think of it in a way that every time you start a new habit, you kind of make a promise to yourself. And you want to keep that promise, because it's a good thing that you want to do this for yourself. So hold yourself accountable for that and try to follow through that promise. Now that you have chosen 1 or 2 habits, you have 2 great approaches how to implement them to your life. I don't know if you know the book, but I can definitely recommend it to you. It's the Atomic Habits from James Clear. I also have it here, it's this one, and this is so good. So this is really like my personal recommendation. This is not an ad or anything, it's my recommendation. This has changed my life because there are so many good tips in here, everything you need to know about habits, and there are also 2 approaches that I really, really like. And one of them is the one that I used and that kind of, made everything so much easier. So the first one is kind of habit. I'm actually not sure if it has a certain name, but you choose to do a certain habit at a certain time. So you can be like, okay, at 7 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna journal. So you have this really clear structure. It's like you can also put it in your phone as a reminder. 7 a.m. every morning, I'm gonna journal. Or 5 p.m. after work, I'm gonna go for a walk. This is a great way, and I know that this works for a lot of people. The habits are connected to certain times. But the other approach, the one that I really love, is habit stacking. It means that you already add a new habit to something you already do. So for example, if the new habit that you want to develop is drink more water, and the first thing that you do in the morning is make yourself a coffee and drink that coffee. First, I'm gonna make my coffee then I'm gonna fill my water bottle. So you connect one habit that you already do with a new one. And this way, it's not like you do something extra or you have to remind yourself of a new habit, but you kind of connect these two so it becomes a habit that you do unconsciously. After you make your coffee, you refill your water bottle. And something that James Clear also does is he uses the habit stacking with the temptation bundling formula. Basically, he says, and then you add the current habit, like I said, like drink coffee. I will, and then you add the habit that you need, refill your water bottle. After you have the habit that you need, after I refilled my water, I will, and then you add a habit that you want, read the news. That's something that you want to do in the morning. So you basically drink your coffee in the morning, that's what you do every day. And then the one thing that you want to do with the coffee is read the news, because you just really like doing that in the morning. So basically you just add it in between. So you have the stacking, you make the coffee, you refill your water bottle. After you've refilled your water bottle, you read the news. I hope this was clear. I'm gonna just put it over here somewhere so you can actually see it. But this is such a great approach because it helped me so much. I already had habits, I just added to them. It was so easy and I didn't have to think so much about them or remind myself, oh, it's a 5 p.m. I have to do this or that. It just happens really naturally, and that's just the best thing that can happen for a habit, that you just do it naturally, unconsciously, without giving it too much thought. Another example to maybe make this clear, there's always a need that you want to have, you need this habit, and then there's always a want, something that you want to have. So let's say you want to check your phone, you want to go on Instagram, but you want to exercise more. So for example, after I pull up my phone, I will do 10 sit-ups. After I've done 10 sit-ups, I'm gonna open Instagram. So doing the sit-ups is the need, and then checking Instagram is the thing that you want. I really hope this makes it kind of clear. So what he did here is he created systems instead of goals. And I feel like this was a big problem for myself because I had this goal in mind and I wanted to be this person who wakes up in the morning, has this really nice morning routine, exercises in the morning, does this and that in the morning. And I had this goal in my head, but I didn't really have a plan or a system behind it. And as long as you only have the goal, it just stays a goal. It's nothing that you actually put into action, because in order to do that, you have to do something. So you definitely need to kind of make it enjoyable for you as well, kind of attractive, so that you really want to do that. And therefore the habit stacking together with the temptation bundling is really, really good. So create a system that works for you instead of comparing yourself to others. James Clear also says that the goal is a result that you want to achieve, and the system is a process that leads to those results. So for example, your flat is messy, so you want to clean it. So the goal is to clean your flat. And once you accomplish that goal, your flat is clean. But that's only for a short time before it gets messy again. So you need to change the system, because the bad habit that you have, that you don't put the things back where they belong, still exists. The outcome will always be the same, because you have to change the habit in order to, like through a system, in order to always have to reach this goal that you in general want to have, that you want to achieve. So if you're able to fix the input, the output will fix itself. So when I developed my morning routine, I made sure that I use this approach of habit stacking. When my alarm goes off, I instantly get up, and then the first thing I do when I leave my bedroom is I put on my earrings. I don't know why, but that's the first thing I do. I kind of added after the alarm goes off and I got up, I'm gonna open the window and make my bed. And after I open the window and made my bed, I will put on my earrings. So this worked really well. So now it's kind of like, I do it naturally. I wake up, I open the window and I make my bed. Like I said, I wanted to change everything in one day. It didn't work. It took me a couple of months to kind of get into this routine, to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what fits my schedule, also like with my work and everything. So that's why every routine is unique to a person. Then I go to the bathroom and I make myself ready, and afterwards I make myself a chai latte. So I really want that chai latte in the morning. So after I've been to the bathroom, I refill my water bottle. And then after I've refilled my water bottle and drank a little bit, I will make myself a chai latte. So this is again the approach that really helped. I mean, that's just how I thought about it in the beginning. But like I said, after like a couple of weeks, it became so natural that I don't do that anymore. It's just It's just natural steps to do one thing after the other. And then afterwards, I come to the living room and I fill out my journal. So these are things that are like non-negotiable for me. I do them every morning and I just really, really love them. And I love them so much that in the evening, I look forward to waking up early and to do all these things. And I also kind of added a new one recently again. I love reading, but I've never done that before work or in the morning. I just sit in this chair, I just have this big window in front of me, and then I read a couple of pages, a chapter or two, depending on how much time I have. You can also develop habits that you don't do every day. You can also choose habits that you do once a week. You can also choose ones that you do once a month or every weekend. Just do them in a way that fit your schedule and that feels good to you. I also have habits that I don't do every day. For example, I try to work out, go for a run, stretch, or just walk around the block, do some kind of movement every day. I try to, but I just don't manage to do that every day, and that's okay. I just try to do it a couple of times a week, and then depending on how much time I have, or maybe also how motivated I am, it's sometimes just a walk, or sometimes just stretching, sometimes it's the running. Kind of depends what mood I'm in and how much time I have. When I thought about the habits that I wanted to add to my life, I mainly thought about habits for my morning routine. I don't have that many habits in the evening, to be honest. I mean, obviously I have some kind of routine or structure, like going to the bathroom, brushing my teeth, taking off my makeup and everything, but it's not that strict. Strict is the wrong word, but it's just not that coordinated, or that I have this, okay, first I do this and then this and then this. It's more just like, okay, I just do whatever. And I don't have that many things I do in the evening because I'm just really, really tired. I'm more of a morning person. So that's why I established a morning routine for myself and added all these habits. And yeah, just do what makes you feel good. If you're an evening person, if you enjoy doing more of the things in the evening, that's totally fine. I'm a morning person, so that's why all my habits or everything I wanted to change about my life, I wanted them to happen in the morning before I start working. If you have clear habits in mind, that's great. If you don't have any, you can always, just for inspiration, just to get an idea, also like search it on Instagram or TikTok or Google it, just to get an idea. Please don't compare yourself to others. Not every habit that someone else is doing is necessarily the right one for you. So make sure to go through a trial and error process. You can try whatever you want and then you see what fits, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Be like, oh, okay, she's doing that, so I have to do that as well, but it just doesn't make me happy. It just stresses me out so much. Then please don't do it. Some habits that I can just like recommend are also like from my routine, from my habits that I do in the morning. Like I said, my habits are mostly for the morning, is open a window, make your bed, journal. You can do some breath work, meditation. Like I said, you can go running, to the gym, stretch, walk around the block. You can read, you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to some music, drink more water, or maybe also clean for 10 minutes in the morning. But you can also definitely add things that are not actually physical ones where you actually do something. It can also be something just like celebrate your wins, either say them out loud or just in your head. Have some affirmations for you ready. This is also something that you can just do in the morning before you start your day, to start it in a positive way, to be like, today is gonna be a good day. I will not be stressed today. It can be whatever. You can choose the habits in a way that you want them to. So these were some of my habits, other habits that I know people have, or I've also tried that, like I said, are not necessarily the right ones for me, but maybe to just give you an idea what you could try out. So this was my video about how to create habits. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope that this video also helped you, that you know how to start, that you know how to approach this topic, what habits you can try out. Thank you so much for watching, and please just let me know in the comments what habits you have, what habits you want to try out, and just, you can also DM me on Instagram and just let me know how it's going. I always love talking to you guys, and thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time. Bye!